All right, let's talk about the future of one of the most talked about technologies out there, blockchain. And I don't mean the hype, the speculation, or the crazy headlines. I mean the actual, concrete roadmap for the next decade. We're going to look at where we are right now and where we're headed, all the way to 2035. This is going to be good. I love this quote because it just hits the nail on the head. The time for just messing around, for pure experimentation, that's kind of over. We've moved from the what-if phase to the how-to phase. Right now, it's all about building the real infrastructure, the digital rails, pipes, and highways for a whole new kind of economy. The foundation is being poured as we speak, and what gets built on top of it, well, that's going to define everything for the next 10 years. Okay, so here's how we're going to break it down. First, we'll get the lay of the land, what's happening today. Then we'll jump into the next 2 to 5 years, which is the big build-out phase. After that, we'll look way out, 10 plus years, at the huge transformation experts are predicting. And finally, we'll talk about the choices we all have in shaping that future. Let's do it. All right, first things first, to even think about the future, you gotta know where you're starting from, right? So what does the blockchain world actually look like today in 2025? The scale of it might honestly surprise you. So let's start with the money. The global market for blockchain in 2025, it's valued at a massive $33 billion. Yeah, this is not some little niche corner of the tech world anymore. We're talking about a serious global industry. And okay, who's actually using this stuff? Get this, over 300 million people around the globe. That's a user base bigger than the entire population of most countries. So this isn't some theoretical thing. It's already in the hands of a huge global community. Now, this number, this is a big one. It's called total value locked, or TVL. Think of it as the amount of money people have deposited into all the financial apps built on blockchain, what we call DeFi. And it's over $150 billion. That is a huge vote of confidence, a massive bet that a new financial system is being built literally from the ground up. So who are the top dogs in this space? Well, Ethereum is still the king of the hill, no doubt. It was the original platform for these smart contracts, which are basically just code that runs automatically on the blockchain. But as you can see here, it is definitely not a one-horse race anymore. You've got competitors like BNB Chain and Solana grabbing big chunks of the market, usually by focusing on being super fast or having really low fees, which is great for things like gaming. And hey, just in case you need a super quick refresher on what a blockchain even is, here you go. It's basically just a shared, super secure digital record book. But instead of one company or person controlling it, everyone on the network has a copy. That's what makes it so secure and transparent. You can't just go and change something without everybody else agreeing. So the key takeaway? The trust is baked right into the code. Okay, so that's the foundation we're standing on. Now let's look at what's being built on top of it. The next 2 to 5 years, honestly, this is the most critical period. This is when the tech gets a massive power-up, and just as important, it's when the rules of the road get written. We're in the infrastructure phase, big time. Just look at what's on the horizon. In 2025, we've got this huge Ethereum upgrade called Dank Sharding, which can make it 100 times faster. Think way cheaper, way quicker transactions. Then, by 2026, we're expecting the US to finally pass some clear laws on who regulates this stuff. Fast forward to 2027, and you could see different blockchains communicating with each other at insane speeds. And by 2028, we could have thousands of major companies running their operations on these self-executing smart contracts. Seriously, every single one of these milestones is a total game changer. So how do we actually get all that speed? Well, a huge amount of focus is going into what are called Layer 2 solutions. Here's the best way to think about it. Imagine the main blockchain is a 2-lane highway. When it gets too popular, you get traffic jams, right? And the tolls, the transaction fees go way up. Layer 2s are like building a brand new multi-lane express highway right on top of the old one. They bundle a bunch of transactions together off to the side, making everything way faster and cheaper, but you still get the rock-solid security of that main highway underneath. It's pretty genius. And you know, it's not just the tech that's getting more sophisticated. So is the regulation. It might look like chaos from the outside, but there's a real plan here. You can see it's a phased approach. Right now, we're in this assessment and prep stage. Next comes building the core digital plumbing, then expanding the whole ecosystem, and finally, aiming for that full-scale transformation. This is a deliberate roadmap to plug this technology right into the global financial system. And this isn't just a US thing. It's happening everywhere. In Europe, they've got this massive framework called MiCA coming online, which creates one set of rules for the whole continent. The US is working on its own big bill, and on a global level, you've got rules for transparency being rolled out. The big takeaway here is coordination. The world's major economies know they need to get on the same page, especially when it comes to things like stablecoins, those digital dollars, to make the whole system work together smoothly. Okay, we've covered the here and now and the near future, so let's zoom out. Let's look way down the road. If this whole build-out phase goes well, what kind of world are we looking at in 10 plus years? Now this is where things get really, really interesting. So the most important thing to get is that the future isn't just one single path. Experts see it branching into four main possibilities. The most likely, with a 40% probability, is what they call the baseline scenario, a slow and steady integration, kind of like how cloud computing just became a normal part of business. Then there's the accelerated path, which would be more like the smartphone revolution, just bam, it's everywhere. A less great option is fragmentation, where different countries or regions build their own closed-off blockchain networks that don't talk to each other. And then you've got the wild card. This is where some massive breakthrough in privacy tech, or maybe with central bank digital currencies, just changes the game completely. But here's the crazy part. No matter which of those paths we go down, the economic impact is expected to be absolutely massive. Gartner, one of the top research firms out there, is predicting that by 2030, blockchain will create $3.1 trillion in new business value. That's a number so big it's almost hard to wrap your head around, but it gives you a sense of the scale we're talking about here. So where does all that value come from? Well, this chart gives us a pretty good idea of how deeply this tech is expected to be embedded in our biggest industries. By 2035, they're projecting 80% adoption in finance. Think stocks, bonds, and real estate becoming digital tokens that you can trade instantly. 70% in supply chain management. Can you imagine scanning a QR code on your groceries and knowing exactly which farm they came from and every stop they made along the way? And 65% in healthcare, with medical records that are secure, private, and completely controlled by you, the patient. And if we zoom in even closer on that future economy, it looks something like this. We're talking about 500 million active business apps running on blockchains, a market size of over $1.4 trillion, a full quarter of all payments that cross borders happening instantly, on-chain, not taking days. It's a world where AI and the Internet of Things are seamlessly and securely connected, and where your digital identity is finally something you actually own and control. Just picture it, your smart fridge ordering and paying for groceries, or AI programs signing and executing business deals. All of it happening automatically and verified on that blockchain trust layer. So we've covered a lot of ground. We've seen where we are today, what the next few years of building look like, and the incredible long-term potential. Which brings us to the most important question of all. What does all this mean, and where do we go from here? So, if you boil it all down, the journey looks like this. Right now, we're building the foundation. The near future, that's all about writing the rules and laying the tracks. And the long-term vision? It's a complete transformation of how we handle value, data, and even our own identities in the global economy. And that leaves us with this final thought. The roadmap we've looked at isn't a single straight line. It's more like a series of forks in the road that lead to very different futures. The decisions that are being made right now, by the developers coding the systems, by the regulators writing the rules, by the businesses adopting the tech, those choices will decide if we get that slow and steady integration, that lightning-fast disruption, or something else entirely. The technology itself is just a tool. The real question is, what kind of future are we going to build with it?